So will the robots bankrupt Elon Musk and Tesla? That's the subject of today's video, and these are the headlines. XAI CFO steps down, the latest in a string of executive departures. And if you've been following this story, so many people quit Elon, and you're always wondering, like, how do they keep the lights on over there? Before it was Twitter, X, right? Linda Yaccarino, that was the CEO over there. She's out. XAI CFO is actually a pretty big quit, right? So the chief financial officer. Let's see what it has to say. How do they keep the lights on? I'm always wondering that. And you have to understand though that much of what Elon does is basically stock pumping. So if all of your companies end up being really just stock pumping, then you just need one guy on Twitter, Elon, and like buy my stock, and that's it. And then ultimately, say in this situation, someone who really knows the numbers, the chief financial officer leaving, that is not a good sign. I think they're only there for like a couple months too. We'll read it. It says the chief financial officer of XAI has left the company, people familiar with the matter said. The latest high-profile departure from Elon Musk artificial intelligence company. Mike Liberator had been the company's CFO since April and left around the end of July. Wow, the people said. The reasons for his departure couldn't be learned. So I wonder why we're just finding about it now. That's kind of strange. Maybe they tried to keep it secret. And, it's a very sensitive topic, the financial situation, because talking about XAI here. So if you don't know, Elon's got Tesla, SpaceX, he's got his Twitter, and then XAI is like another thing, and they've been trying to raise money for that. And then he's been trying to shuffle money around his companies to keep this thing afloat. I think it's losing like $1 billion a month, and it really is that much because the number I saw was $13 billion a year. And, whether or not he'll eventually just basically rob Tesla to keep this thing afloat. I mean, who knows? And for all we know with the CFO thing, they might have, saw some things that they didn't like in the numbers, or Elon asked them to do something. I mean, you just don't know with Elon. And I'll just say this. They've been losing so many people. I think this is a house of cards. And this is also the representation of our bubble market. So once Elon eventually, crashes out, and he will, and his companies will crash out, then we'll probably have bottomed out. What else does it say here? It says Liberator has also overseen some of XAI's data center expansion in the greater Memphis area. Wow. And if you know anything about that, local residents are actually suing Elon's company because Elon basically, taking everyone's power, and they're worried about pollution over there. It's a really serious thing because remember, the whole idea of this robot AI stuff is to replace all the workers. So we're going to, take your power, poison your air, whatever, take your jobs. And then Elon will tweet out like nonsense. And why would you want to work for something like that? And this is the kind of nonsense that we're talking about here. So this is just today. Every day I check it's nonsense. I don't show you it all the time because it's too much nonsense. But this gives you a sense who it is. Elon's reposting here. Kazuya used Grok for relationship advice in the latest chapter of Rent a Girlfriend. And if you've been following the Elon thing, they recently made like anime kind of chatbot characters. So if you want to have a date, your AI, you can totally do that. Elon always says that you're going to have a bunch of robot buddies and everyone's going to buy his product and we're all going to be rich, I guess, according to Elon. Elon also lately is going on these weird tirades. Like something's off with the guy. Even South Park was kind of making fun of him. Offhand, they were referring to the K-hole. If you guys don't know, Elon's an addict. And if you saw South Park, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, oh, I'm in a K-hole. So you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about if you saw the show. So Elon, what does he say? He says, my observation is that a major driver of white males becoming trans is the relentless propaganda portraying white men as the worst human beings. All right, Elon. So he's concerned about trans stuff. That's the stuff that he writes. And then he then retweets these posts of the, I guess, trans people are going up. So we should all be really concerned about that. It's like this weird crap. And, regarding this stuff, guys, you can do whatever you like. You can love whoever you like. That's your life. And it honestly doesn't affect me at all. So for me, these are non-issues. And I understand for Elon, maybe he thinks about that stuff all the time while he's in his K-holes. Now, here's was the really big news, though. I was mentioning the, could the robots bankrupt Elon? So according to Elon, this was the question first. It says, what are the steps to achieve Master Plan Part 4, scale FSD? So that's the robot driving thing. And then you get the robots themselves, Optimus, 1, guess right. And then Elon says, those are the biggest factors. 80% of Tesla's value will be Optimus. So effectively, I mean, this is from Elon's own words here. If they don't roll out the robots, then I guess the company's not really worth anything. And we already know that the Tesla sales are absolutely crashing. So, I mean, when are we going to see a total, fail of Elon? I mean, we're already seeing it live, and that's why it's fun to watch this thing. Here's another headline here. Elon Musk says Optimus robots will save Tesla, but many of them don't work yet. I guess they were promising like 5,000 of these things. And then I don't think they're going to hit it. And then this was a quote from Elon. My prediction is that Optimus will be the biggest product of all time by far. It's according to Elon. And he was like basically saying, more robots than phones and more robots than anything. Like the biggest, product ever. It's like that kind of hyperbole stuff. But he says this stuff and he has a cult following. Nothing will even be close. I think it'll be 10 times bigger than the next biggest product ever made. So that's according to Elon. The biggest product ever made will be his robots. This is a quote from one of the cultists. It says, some Tesla backers are all in. Quote, a fleet of starships is going to land on Mars, and a landing ramp is going to come out of each of them, and you're going to see Optimus robots walk down the ramp and plant the American flag. And when you see this stuff, so you never know, okay? So one, some of these people are just flat out liars. Like they know it's all nonsense, but they just lie because they want to keep the Ponzi going effectively. Other people are true cultists and they get totally exposed. You'll see it in the Tesla stock promoters or whatever. And like anything that Elon tweets out, they'll say, oh yes, Elon is master. And oh yes, I believe anything Elon says. But like when the dude that you worship and follow and, parrot all the time is in his K-hole, like, whoa, trans this, whoa, we're all gonna have robots, whoa, we're all going to Mars, right? Like it's obvious. Like if you understand that these are human beings, that's Elon, and yes, I know sometimes he may act like a robot, but no, he's a human being and he's an addict. And so he tweets out this nonsense stuff, sitting and, laying on the floor, because he used to brag about laying on the office floor all the time when he was working with Trump. No, seriously, that's what he talk about. Like the leaks that come out of Elon are always so funny because it's like, how does this guy keep this thing going? And, you're talking about a dude who walks around the office and offers, coworkers his sperm. And that's real. I'm not that imaginative to make this crap up about Elon. It's like, all you have to do is just say who he is. And if you just listen to him talk, he's a weird guy, and you listen to his tweets, you can tell he's a strange guy. Tesla FSD, this is more damaging for Elon. Tesla FSD turns off more U.S. consumers than it attracts, survey finds. So Elon's saying, okay, this whole robot and AI stuff is the future of our company, 80% of the value. Oh, we're going to sell so much. And then you do a survey asking people, do you want to have Tesla full self-driving, robot driving? And people are like, no. Let's read this. It says, the Electric Vehicle Intelligence Report for August, published by political consulting firm Slingshot Strategies, polled 8,000 Americans. That's a pretty big pool there. Only 14%, right? 1-4. Only 14% of those surveyed said FSD would make them more likely to buy a Tesla. It's not very many. While 35% said the technology would make them less likely to purchase one. And here's a big one. The remaining 51% said the availability of FSD would make no difference to them in near terms of their car buying decisions. Nearly half of the consumers surveyed by Slingshot said they think FSD technology should be illegal. So about, I said nearly half. Half people think this technology should be illegal. So that's no good for him. And so what does Elon do? He has his lawyer go out and make a Dogecoin treasury. Seriously, this is the headline. And I actually read through this stuff. There's a couple articles on it. And I don't know what the heck they're doing. I really don't. And if you guys know, you can write in the comments, but it is as stupid as it sounds. A Dogecoin treasury. So that's what we're doing. This is all obviously a bubble by some dude in a K-hole. Oh, let's do a coin treasury. Dogecoin treasury. Yay. And this is the quote. The transaction creates the only official Dogecoin treasury sponsored by the Dogecoin Foundation and the House of Doge, the authorized commercial arm of the Dogecoin Foundation. This is stupid. That's the world we're in right now. It's like how long can this crazy bubble last? This guy's supposedly the most smartest genius of all time. He's supposedly the richest dude in the world. And I always say supposedly because you never know with these people. They same with Trump, they lie about everything. So, And if you know anything about Elon Musk's financial situation, what we do know is that it's often based on his stock. He'll always say, "Oh, I take no salary. You know, I don't care about money." So what they do, you take stock and stock options, and then you borrow money based on that, lines of credit, etc. So if his stock absolutely collapses, he's in real trouble very quickly. And I think this is going to be should be connected to their sales, right? So for example, it says Tesla sales collapse continue in Europe, top EV market. So here's some of the numbers. German, I guess Tesla sales are down 56%, France down 39%, Belgium down 56%, Denmark down 54%, Sweden down 66%. And actually there's even bigger numbers over here. I think, what is this, year-on-year change, year-on-year sales. Either way, it's all negative. And then Norway, though, to be fair, they do have a bit of positive there, but it must be some sort of tax subsidy or something like that. Because I think Norway is one of the countries where they do have a lot of electric vehicles, but that's not the norm. I mean, you look at some of this other stuff, be it from India, and this is more just India and China, and basically they're saying like Tesla, has been firing people. The $25,000 vehicle will never come, because the thing is, if you're trying to sell, let's say you're Tesla and you want to sell cars all over the world, right? You want to dominate. There are some markets where the consumer can't afford your overpriced vehicles, right? So you need to come with something cheaper, around the 25K, but it's never going to happen. Elon is not the engineer. Like, he's not the guy who designs everything. And it's funny because I just bring this up. It's just a really simple logic question. If you ever talk to a Tesla cultist, just ask him simple questions like, hey, is Elon alone? Is he the one who designs everything? Is Elon alone the one who makes everything work? Right? Is he the center of the company? Is he the mastermind? And basically, if you understand what this stuff is, Elon's basically the stock promoter, the stock pumper. That's his what? He's in marketing, advertising, these kind of things, and he goes around and says all these crazy things of like, oh, we're gonna go to Mars, and you're gonna have robots, and it's gonna be trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and all the people, oh yeah, Elon, trillions. And that like any reasonable person can understand that this guy is a complete con artist. So that's why I said there's certainly people who Elon will lie for him, right? Lie in public. But how long will that go? And that's why that's big news when the CFO of his new company is supposed to be Elon's new cash cow thing, XAI, is stepping down. They're only there for a couple months. It's pretty bad news. And then you'll look around and you'll be like, there's another one. Chinese EV buyers are cooling on Tesla and BYD. Or this, 4 Chinese car makers enter Australian top 10 for the first time while Tesla sales slump. So he's having a hard time selling cars in China. There's just too many other choices out there. I'll tell you this, guys. I'm here in Korea. I see Korean cars on the road all the time, and they have like multiple models of electric vehicles, multiple models of hybrid vehicles, etc. And they look a lot better than the Teslas. The Teslas are dated. They don't come with anything new. And then when you look at, say, something like Australia, this is a list, and it shows you how competitive the car market is. So this is Australia. The top ones are Toyota, Ford, Kia. Those are the top 3. Then you got Mazda, Hyundai, BYD, Mitsubishi, GWM, MG, Chery, Isuzu, and then Tesla at the bottom there in terms of sales. But Toyota is like, what, 10 times? This is right. Month of August. In August, 10 times more than Tesla. I mean, it's game over there. And it's like, it's kind of like the best way to describe Tesla and Elon Musk. You know how Wile E. Coyote's always chasing the Roadrunner, and you run off a cliff, essentially the Wild Coyote does, and then he's gonna fall, and he just says you have to look down, and once he looks down, he's gonna fall. It's basically that. And so we're watching this to see how it's gonna collapse and how it's gonna develop. But it's just completely unsustainable. You can't run companies at all in any legitimate fashion without like CFOs or COs, right, on your thing. And if your COs constantly, this is Elon or head or whatever you want to call this, is always off in whatever K-holes. I mean, this is why this whole thing is crazy. So I think this, again, we track it because it's the sort of pinnacle of the bubble market. And when Elon completely falls, that's when it's bottom out, in my opinion. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.